Here's something that might be a little uncomfortable to hear. Most people think they're self aware. Studies show that 95% of people believe they're self aware, but research also shows that only about 10 to 15% actually are. And I don't say that to be harsh. I say it because I was in the 95% for a long time. I thought I knew myself. I thought I understood why I did what I did. But I was just telling myself a story, a comfortable one, that protected me from the truth. The problem is, you cannot heal what you cannot see. You cannot change a pattern you don't know exists. And you cannot choose differently if you're operating on autopilot. Self awareness is the entire game, and today we're talking about how to actually build it. Welcome back to Eclipse and Natty. I'm so glad you're here. Quick recap if you're new here. In the last video, we broke down what self-love actually means. The 3 layers, the myth, and the real definition. If you haven't watched that video yet, I recommend starting there. I'll link it at the end. For today's video, we're going into Module 2 of my self-love course, Season 1, The Journey Within. And for today's episode, we're going into Module 2, my self-love course, Season 1, The Journey Within. And in this module, it's all about self-awareness. And in my opinion, the most important module in this entire course. Because everything else we do, from relationships, boundaries, healing, mindset, it all starts right here. Let's go. So let's define what we're actually talking about. Because be more self-aware is one of those things people say all the time, but nobody really explains what it means. There are actually 2 types of self-awareness, and both matter. The first is external awareness, knowing your own values, thoughts, emotions, patterns, and why you do what you do. The second is external self-awareness, understanding how other people experience you, how you show up in a room, the impact you have on the people around you. Most of us are stronger in one than the other. And honestly, for the work we're doing, the healing, the self-love, and the growth, internal awareness is where we need to start. But here's the tricky part, though. We all have blind spots. A blind spot is something true about you that you can't see, usually because it's uncomfortable or because it's been normal to you for so long that you've stopped noticing it. Like the person who say they never get angry but snaps at everyone they love when they're stressed. Or the person who genuinely believes that they're being helpful but is actually controlling. Or the person, hi, that was me, who thought they were just being easygoing but was actually terrified of conflict and had no idea what they're actually needed. Blind spots aren't character flaws, they're information. They're pointing you towards the work. Okay, so how you actually do this? There are 4 practices that I use and I teach in my course. Tool 1, journaling. I know you've heard this before, but I want to reframe it because I don't mean write 3 things you're grateful for and close the notebook. I mean using journaling as a mirror, as asking hard questions and then actually sitting with the answers. Questions like,
why did the conversation bother me so much? What am I afraid of right now? What do I keep avoiding? And what do I actually want beneath all the noise?
you don't need to write pages, you need to write honestly. Even 5 minutes of honest reflection will show you more than about yourself than an hour of surface level processing. Tool 2, body check-ins. Your body knows things before your brain does. Emotion shows up in the body first. tightness in the chest, heaviness in the stomach, tension in the jaw. Before you can name what you're feeling, your body is already living it. Start checking in multiple times a day. Just pause and ask,
what am I feeling in my body right now? What's the sensation trying to tell me?
this sounds simple. It is profoundly powerful, especially if you grew up in an environment where you had to disconnect from your feelings to survive. Tool 3, trigger mapping. A trigger is an emotional reaction that feels bigger than the current situation calls for. When you overreact or when you shut down completely, that's almost always a signal that something old has been activated. So instead of feeling ashamed about your triggers, get curious. What situation consistently set you off? What kinds of people or behaviors light a fuse for you? And what those patterns have in common? Your triggers are a map to your wounds, and your wounds are where your deepest healing happens. Tool 4, trusting feedback. With discernment, not everyone's opinion of you is worth carrying, but there are people in your life, a mentor, a therapist, a close friend who has done their own work, who can see things about you that you can't see yet. Ask them, be brave enough to say,
I'm trying to understand myself better. Is there something you see in me that I might be missing?
and then, and this is the hard part, actually listen without defending yourself. The last part is the work. Now, let's talk about why this is hard. Because if self awareness was easy, everyone would have it. The biggest block I see and lived is the fear of what you'll find. There's a part of us that believes if we look too closely, we'll discover something unforgivable, something broken, something that confirms our worst fear, that we are, at our core, not lovable. So we stay busy, we stay distracted, we keep our lives full enough that there's no quiet space for the truth to come up. For me, the wake up call came when I noticed I was repeating the same patterns in every relationship. Different people, different circumstance, same dynamic, same outcome, same hurt. And I had two choices. I could keep blaming the other people, and honestly, some of them deserve some blame. Or I could get honest about my role, about what I was bringing to those dynamics, about the wounds that were running the show behind the scenes. It was the hardest thing I ever did, and it was the most freeing. Here's the reframe I want to offer you. Self awareness is not self criticism. It's not about finding everything wrong with you and making a list. It's about getting curious instead of judgmental, about treating yourself the way you treat someone you deeply care about, with gentleness, with honesty, and with patience. The goal isn't to be a perfect self observer. The goal is just to be a little more awake than you were yesterday. Next Marshall in episode, we are going into the wounds that's underneath the patterns within of the inner child work, generational cycles, and in the beliefs that were formed before you was even old enough to even understand them. And yes, it's heavy and it's beautiful, and it will also change how you see yourself. Share if this video helped you and subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you're ready to go deeper, the course is waiting for you. The link is below. I'll see you in the next video. You're doing the work, and that matters. See you.